Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Kage here, and today we're going to talk shop while I play a little bit of Heroes of the Storm to give you a little bit of something in the background to pay attention to, I suppose. So, yes, it's been a while, hasn't it, since I've produced any kind of major content, like a long time. In fact, as of right now, it's even been a few weeks since I released the last Hero Quest episode, and I do have them online ready to produce. I just haven't gotten around to editing some of the settings. Yes. So yeah, I've been, for those of you who haven't been keeping up and haven't checked on the Facebook, I think I mentioned it on Twitter as well, I've gone around and I've made a new system, and that's kind of what this video is about, is testing. I'm on my new system now, and I kind of want to test it out, make sure everything runs smoothly. I want to make sure the recording works smoothly, and of course the video editing, because I had to, of course, reset all of my settings. And so I just want to make sure it works. And so far, so good. I'm very pleased with the way this has turned out so far. So I'm hoping that the video render and all that works out smoothly as well. So yeah, it has definitely been a while. I do plan to get the next Hero Quest out. I have been thinking heavily about what kind of content I want to make moving forward, what I want to do. It's been one of those things where I don't think it's any secret that I've been in a little bit of a funk as regards to any kind of content creation. So I'm sure it comes as no surprise that some of these videos have been videos have been non-existent other than Hero Quest. Hopefully some of you do like the Hero Quest stuff, and even if you don't, I think it's kind of at least worth a watch. We have great fun there in the Hero Quest sessions. I do quite enjoy the group that we've got. I think everybody is really fun to play with, and we got some interesting personalities there. But I do want to get back to some of the older content that I was doing before. Maybe not all of it. I have been thinking about going back to Hand of Fate, as I loved that. A Hand of Fate sequel is coming out, so I'm kind of stoked for that as well. But I want to continue the runs, and there were two pieces of DLC that I actually wanted to cover, and I just didn't get to it. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm thinking about going back into that if you guys want to keep seeing that. I've been really thinking long and hard of, like, making something like a tutorial again, as those seem to be the better content that people like. I'm just not really playing anything at the moment that I feel like really needs a tutorial or something that I can make a tutorial out of just right yet. Should I go down there or just try and get this? Let's try and get this one. So that's been something I've been, I've just been kind of playing on my mind there. So I don't entirely know what I'm going to be doing there. But I do think I kind of want to bring the Hand of Fate stuff back. I don't know what else. I really should finish the Diablo playthrough with the Witch Doctor, as that was a story playthrough. It wasn't necessarily just a, hey, this is a... Yes, I did go into technicalities with it. I talked about some theory crafting ideas at lower levels, and as I gain skills and things like that. And I think some people I think people really like that aspect. But it is something I've been wanting to continue, because I really feel like I want to go through and kind of go through the story in that series, because that's what kind of attracted me to making the series in the first place, was going through not only the character and all the things they could do, but how the story played out for the different characters, and how you got some different dialogue with each one. And one thing I liked when I was playing, say, between the Crusader and the Witch Doctor, was seeing the different dialogue between the companions. So I do think I want to go back to that. I did do this season, and I got my extra stash space, and I was three objects away from... Oh god, how I want to build. They're all kind of light. I don't want to go with attack speed or... Let's get the duration. That might be hard to get up, but I want to do it. Yeah, so I do want to get back to that. I'm hoping that, now that I've got this new machine built, I'm feeling a little more invigorated. as I was running into some slight issues, nothing major, obviously nothing that would have stopped me from making content, just, you know, kind of more personal stuff was more stopping me. So I'll get into that, and I'll try and see what else I might be able to do. But yeah, I'm kind of hoping to get back. Hopefully this will look good. It's everything is running buttery smooth, and I'm quite liking that. So yeah, hopefully again everything looks good. By all means, do let me know if you see anything odd with the video recording, or if things don't sound right as well. Because since I am on a new system, you have to keep in mind that the audio settings will of course have been different. I am using the same headset, but you never know how it will respond with a new system. Not only that, but along with the new system is I am using Windows 10 installation instead of Windows 7 Ultimate. It is Windows 10 Pro though, you know, so upgrading from Ultimate gets you to the Pro level. I'm totally not Pro level. You see these plays I'm making with KageKaze. I'm terrible. So yeah, that's a lot. You know, I've got to make sure it's working. But yeah, I want to get out of the funk. I want to try kind of get back into that saddle. You know, do everything I can to do that. It's just one of those things. You know, you gotta do what you need to do for you, I suppose. You know, make sure not everything is becoming a chore, and not that video making is really a chore. It's just it was one of those things where my heart wasn't exactly in it. So it's like rather than it becoming a chore, I should take a step back and then figure out what's missing, you know? I'm still working on it, but I think if I get back in the saddle and make some stuff, maybe I'll figure it out. We'll see. We'll see. Again, hopefully you guys like the Hero Quest stuff. That has definitely been the thing that's been keeping me kind of sane, I suppose, as it were, even if we don't always get to. Oh, yeah. Alright. Well, that's only a Abathur clone, I guess, but we just totally got wrecked there. So, yeah, so this is the new patch with Tracer in it from Overwatch, and boy, have I enjoyed myself some Overwatch. I am looking forward to that game coming out. I think that will be one of the big things that I probably pour some content into, although what type of videos I make, I don't know. When the beta weekend happened for the stress test, the first one, I did a lot of live streaming, and I kind of turned those into videos as best I could. There we go. And I think it turned out okay, but I don't know if people just want to watch a whole bunch of Overwatch matches. I'm trying to think of like what I could do as a series. Maybe some character guides of some sort, although I'm not necessarily good enough because I haven't been in the closed beta proper. So, I mean, my rust was definitely showing, especially this last weekend that I did participate in. I just didn't record or stream, or no, I did stream a little bit of it, but not all of it. I was letting my frustrations get the better of me during that sequence. But yeah, I am enjoying, despite some of my anger and bitterness in the last session, I was enjoying myself, and I look forward to the full thing coming out, totally. And again, I will definitely be looking to making content on that.
Do not let your efforts be wasted. Rise, my terror.
All right.
Sap the life from your
So Tracer coming out in Heroes of the Storm was definitely a big thing. I quite enjoyed that. I have played quite a few matches with her. I really love her, but unfortunately it's making it very difficult to actually find a game to play because so many people are playing Tracer. And what I love about her is her mobility, just the sheer amount of mobility she has. I'm going to die. I mean, she's awesome. She is Tychus with his attack speed, but has tons and tons of mobility. I mean, she can attack while moving. It's just the most amazing thing, and it really changes the dynamic of the game when you're playing Tracer. And I love her. I really do. It's awesome. She, you know, some people have called her a little overpowered, but having played her a lot, I know how squishy she is. She's like Lunara and not having any health at all. You know, Nova in one shot takes you down to at least half health. You know, so it's definitely something where you have to use your mobility. You have to constantly be on the move. But I will tell you what, if you can really work her and you get used to moving and shooting, she is such a terror on the battlefield, and it's awesome. I think I have to do some kind of video on her, really, because I like her so much. Let's get going. Curse this plant. Alright, so yeah, this is the, you know, speaking of course, Tracer, one of the changes that happened prior to her release was a whole shake-up on a couple characters like Illidan. Illidan is so terribly lethal right now, I just don't know what to think of him. He is so incredibly strong with his, he has this tankiness that's... It's so hard to kill him, you know? Even with my new KageKaze, even with Tracer, it's like he's got these... such a fast attack speed now. It's like, you know, I believe around twice a second now. It's just amazing what Illidan can do, and he can be survivable. KageKaze, I like his role change, and if it weren't for Tracer, he'd probably be like my mainliner. Let's try and get a hold of this guy. Where'd he go? Yeah, no, gone. Yeah, they've turned KageKaze into a tank killer. He does a percentage damage of health now as a or not really as a baseline. You have to activate the minigun to get it, but you do a percentage of maximum health, and so he's total tank killer. He will melt anything with high health. If you've got a KageKaze and your Cho'Gall, look out, because KageKaze will totally wreck you. It's just nuts. And then at level 20, you do get a baseline version of it, which can stack with the trait version, which is really nice. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of heroes. Been getting back into, oddly enough, Final Fantasy XIV since Heavensward came out, and I stopped playing it for quite a while.
Night falls once more, and soon the Shamblers shall rise again.
Impressive work. Love it.
So it's like I stopped playing it, and I kind of wanted to get back into it, so I finally sat down, did a whole bunch of content, and I'm in a fairly comfortable spot, working on some of the in-game stuff. You know, only the beginning of it. I'm doing the gear grinding to get me into the next dungeon. So there's that.
The Shamblers rise, slay them, and gather the seeds.
Yeah, well, that sucked. Get him. He is dead if he stays in there. Yeah, he is. There he goes. Ah, frickin' Illidan's. Yeah, so I've been playing more Final Fantasy. Kind of thinking of changing up my main. I typically go Dragoon, but just because I kind of like the Dragoon class. Always have. Since Final Fantasy IV, being one of my favorite Final Fantasies, probably mainly to my main exposure to it being one of the first role-playing games with, you know, console role-playing games, JRPGs, with the major story that I got into. And just, I loved it. I just kind of really loved that game. And Kain, the Dragoon, being one of my favorite characters. So I've always been gravitating towards that class. But there are other classes that remind me of my WoW days that I was better at, and I might switch up what I am. I don't know. I'm probably just going to get all the main loot for the Dragoon, and then still play something else. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that's what's been going on with me. Not really a lot to speak of, other than Hero Quest and work, and I've been doing some D&D sessions with friends, and that's always fun. You may have heard, if you watch the Hero Quest sessions, you may have heard me talk once or twice about the D&D session I have with my friends, which I find to be quite fun. We are a terrible group of miscreants that are up to no good. Basically, we're out for ourselves, but we're not evil. We're, well, not all evil. I'm a true neutral Dwergar, which is kind of a dark dwarf. And I just kind of go along as long as I can find something to drink. I mean, you would think that's stereotypical, but it's not really just that. I make the drink too, so I'm like always out for to improve on my brew. I've got to improve on my brew, and every chance I get is a character flaw. Actually, I have to take a drink. I can't refuse a drink. If someone offers me a drink and I know there's something wrong with it, I can't. It's my flaw. I have to. I was like, I want that drink. Oh, drink. There's no bad time for a brew. Constantly taking swigs. I get bonus experience for it too now. It's awesome. So this has turned into kind of a rambling video. And hopefully you guys are okay with that. This is a vlog after all, so you know, I gotta kind of talk about what's been going on in my life, what's been interesting me, what I'm planning for the channel and content, and you know, a lot of what I'm into and what I'm doing really factors into that, honestly. You know, so knowing what I've been doing and kind of the frame of mind that I've been in. Obviously, I've been huge into Tabletop Simulator, and one thing, you know, not only do I play Hero Quest, I play tons of deck building games. Oh, that was a little late on that there. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of deck builders, specifically the Cryptozoic deck building. The Cryptozoic engines called the Cerberus engine. And I've actually been thinking, it's something I kind of wanted to do, just with everything the way it is. I just haven't really sat down and planned it out, and is doing maybe a tutorial video on Tabletop Simulator. Not just, maybe actually one on Tabletop Simulator itself, but I was thinking with some of the DLC they've released, right, the games that you have to pay for additional, which are great games. I was thinking about maybe doing some tutorial series on those, like how to play, kind of like some of the tabletop gaming channels out there do, you know, which is great. I think that there might be a little bit of a market for it, just because while you do have a lot of channels out there that play tabletop games and explain them, this would be one that's specifically catered to playing it on Tabletop Simulator. And there might be something to that. I'm thinking there might be, and it would combine something that I've been enjoying to do lately with creating content. So there is a chance that'll work. You know, if there's anything you guys might be interested in seeing, no promises, because this is kind of an exploratory thing. Maybe let me know. You know, tell me what you think. Is there maybe a game or type of content maybe that you would like to see? Anything at all, and obviously there's going to be no promises, because it has to be something, it's going to be one of those things where I want to make the content you people want to watch, but at the same time, I have to be, obviously, true to myself, and I'm just not going to really do something that I'm just going to be like, oh man, that's no fun, I don't want to do that. The big thing about the tutorial thing with the Tabletop Simulator, one of the downsides to that is, even though it's something that I like to do, the one downside, of course, to tutorial making is that there is a lot of work involved. You got to make sure you're researched, make sure, I want to minimize mistakes, because I've watched so many walkthrough and tutorial videos and stuff like that where the presenter made, you know, minor mistakes. They're understandable, but it was one of those things where I would use their videos to try and understand the game myself, and it made it harder to understand if they were making flubs, especially on a regular basis. So it's one of those things where if I do it, I want to try and get as much information, research, and of course I will edit a lot, because I want to make it presentable, I want to make it good, I want to make it semi-professional. I'm no pro, but I put a lot of pride in my work, you know. I feel like if you're going to do something, you might as well do the best you can, and, you know, that's what I'm going to try and do. And I'm hoping it shows in some of the content I do, even though some of the content I do may be considered lazy content, like Let's Plays. Let's face it, it's just really easy to do this kind of content while I'm still, you know, holding a job, and, you know, all the wonderful stuff that it is to be a working individual. You know, it's you gotta be, you know, time is a critical thing sometimes, and that's just it. Making a tutorial is a lot of time and a lot of effort. Not that I do not want to put that effort in or time in, Just with the funk I was in especially, it was very hard to get motivated. So we'll see. Maybe that will become a thing. Again, no promises on that. I just want to talk to you guys about what's been in my head, what I'm thinking, and maybe from there we can make some progress. I would like to think that there's something I'd get into that may need some kind of tutorial. Really, that is kind of where my head's at. It like what would be the thing that would probably be the best to move forward with. And going into Overwatch, I mean, I think a lot of it's kind of all pretty straightforward, and you know, there may not be a lot of discussion needed there because, well, it's fairly basic. It's a Team Fortress 2 type game with ultimates. And, you know, yeah, there are some nuance, but a lot of it is pretty much first-person shooter skill. But there are some things that can be discussed, and I'll have to look into that, like what content do I think I can make that would help that discussion. Oh, man. Oh well, I did some damage. So how am I doing here? XP comp is up, hero damage is not as high as I would like. They don't have any tanks, so really being Tychus is not a good character for this match. I've been talking a lot, so I haven't been paying as much attention, but I have died the least next to Greymane. So yeah, a lot of really good changes happened to Heroes of the Storm. Some of the UI changes, we finally have a death recap, which is really nice. Tracer is just, as you can see, I mean, just look at these two Tracers go at it. The downside to two Tracers fighting is usually it comes down to which Tracer starts the fight first. Just because you can constantly move, and it doesn't matter how much you juke, she auto-aims, she auto-aims, obviously. As all characters do. She's interesting in that she only has one damaging attack, but she does have her ultimate at level 1, which becomes her second damaging attack. Yeah, so that's kind of why they give her ultimate, because really what she has is a blink ability to move quickly, and then a rewind ability to remove status effects, but also move out of a position very quickly. And the only ability she has for damage is a melee, so you have to get up close. And when you're squishy like Tracer is, that is not always a good idea. But that is how you build your ultimate, and build the ability to cast that sooner. What's going on down here? Got you. Holy crap, I got out of the range of that. Oh my god. Oh shit. Let's go over here. I won! I killed Sylvanas and a Tychus. That makes me happy. That was risky, and it was stupid of me to do it, but I did it anyway, and I won. Now, how high is this going? About 2 seconds? So, I mean, if you're interested in my build, Shrug It Off, Running Gun grants you Stacks of Restraint, which is reduced damage, so that's been kind of a standard. I kind of looked that one up a bit, see, you know, what are a lot of the top-end players using? That's usually a big one, and it works. You know, you can get in, you can dash, and you can take a bit more damage before you got to retreat, and at the same time, if you're running away, you take less damage, which is also very nice. Oh well. Second is in the rhythm, basic attacks will permanently increase minigun duration. While minigun is active, it increases it. So whenever I proc the minigun, which does the percentage damage to an enemy hero, it says I get more. So you can see I have 2 extra seconds. It's normally 3 seconds, so now it's up to 5 seconds. Come on, someone get him. He is taking a lot of damage. Get in there. Get in there. Oh, well. Yeah, I got ambushed. It's what's going to happen. I hate Illidan now. I really do. I was never a fan of Illidan before. I don't play him very well, and I always found him a difficult opponent to deal with. And now even more so. Oh, you know, I got to admit, Tracer is just an amazing character to be duplicated by Abathur. I don't know if she gets the ultimate, but the fact that Tracer is so auto-attack focused, even more so than anyone else, more so than even Raynor. Her base power is so high, with auto attacks. That Abathur mimicking a Tracer is just absolute major benefit to any team. Anyway, so I picked this because I want to combine it with the That's the Stuff, where miniguns damage heals you for 100% of the damage it deals. So I want it to last longer for these fights that I'm in where everybody is squishy, right? Sylvanas, Tracer, Illidan. Illidan's not really squishy. It's kind of a misnomer on him. I hate how tanky he is. I feel like maybe he's a bit too tanky right now. But Zeratul, enemy Tychus, none of them are tanks. I'm a tank killer, so I have to kind of change my build up to compensate, and I feel like giving me more minigun duration for the extra damage combined with self-healing is kind of the way to go, especially since there are no supports on either team. So beyond that, none of them really have CC. You know, Tracer doesn't CC, Sylv doesn't, Illidan, Zeratul might, but his ultimate doesn't get broken by anything, so it doesn't help. Yeah, so instead of going Relentless Soldier, I went with Quarterback in order to throw my grenades faster, which helps me use my overkill and pull them back into range easier. Plus, it allows me to poke at long range without needing to get too close. The Drill Laser, I like that one better than the Commandeer Odin. I have since they took away the second life bar, although every now and then I might do the Odin. Main reason is because Tychus benefits so much from his minigun ability that it feels like the Odin kind of weakens him. I feel like they may need to reevaluate the Odin, although a lot of people seem to keep using it, so maybe I'm wrong on that. I find that the laser is kind of nice because it does extra damage that I can do while I'm also attacking another target, or maybe even the same target. And it can be a distraction, or just area denial, flat out. I already talked about That's the Stuff. Lead Rain, that was kind of dubious. I don't know. That's just the one I decided to go with. It slows the targets that I hit with Overkill. Alternatively, you can get Armor Piercing, which does primary damage to the Overkill target. Obviously, these were two things you could get at the same time. You used to be able to get Lead Rain and Armor Piercing. Oh well, got Zera. I'd say that was kind of worth it. As long as they can take him out, which they can't. Oh yeah, too many people dying. And that Tracer's trying to kill Illidan, and it's not going to happen because Illidan has that ability to just block auto attacks. So he is like a major foil to Tracer. Although, yeah, I can. He's super tanky after his talent revamp. Yeah, so Illidan's got like self-shielding and heals, and it's just amazing. It's amazing how powerful Illidan is now. You see Illidan's in like every game now. I really think that that's kind of a thing that they need to look at. Now, unfortunately, every time Blizzard talks about balance, they talk about, oh, well, the win percentage is kind of where we want it, or the win percentage isn't where we want it. And I've had this argument about high res in their balancing. They always talk about win percentages. And, you know, that's cool and all, and I think that can be a decent metric. And I just constantly hope that it's not the only metric. You know, it's like one of those things where I want to believe that they're doing the right thing. But when that's the one thing they talk about every time they talk about their reasons for buffs and nerfs, it really is concerning. Very concerning. And Illidan is one of those characters that might need a look at. It's really hard to say because he does have this skill ceiling where a bad Illidan player will do you no good, but at the same time a good Illidan player is just super hard to deal with, and you just saw kind of how tanky he was, where one Illidan can kill so many people on a team. It's just you just can't do enough damage to him fast enough. And this is a team without a healer, mind. You put Illidan behind a healer and good luck sometimes. Yeah. I don't know, personal bias maybe. Again, I try not to claim, when I do critique and review, I try not to claim any one thing is overpowered because it's easy to get confirmation bias. It's easy to think something is overpowered just because it's killing you. So it's always been an argument that I always hated and tried to stay away from, because I've seen people do that all the times. I would roll my eyes every time there was a thread in like the WoW forums or whatever game I happened to be playing, where it was like such and such is overpowered, and and I'd roll my eyes like, no, they're not. So when I ever get those thoughts in my head, I try to breach it with a certain level of oh, I'm dead. That frickin' slow. That slow combined with Illidan getting in my way. See, that's the thing too about Illidan, is he just goes out there and he can block your path because of that damn tumbling thing he does. Oh well. We tried. Honestly, don't think this was a bad game. I think we did decent. The kills are off by about 7. They have tons of, as you said, tons of burst and sustain on the enemy team. So, we tried. I mean, we may still stave them off. Whether or not we win, though? Yeah, it looks like we're going to stave them off, actually, so that's good. We'll see if we win, though. Right. Did I mention everything else about the build? Oh, I didn't talk about the less 20. Sizzling attacks just gives me the basic increase, the 1% extra health. That's better against tanks, but honestly, I don't really want focusing diodes because they can kill my laser so quickly. And Bob and Weave probably would have been the other option, where I get two casts of running gun additional. Well, that's turned around pretty nicely. I'm the only one down. They just killed a third one. I think we may have this one. Holy crap. There I go. I was saying about how we were about to lose, but we actually win it. So yeah. Take any of my complaints with a grain of salt, especially when it comes to Illidan. The fact that we won just feels really good. That helps because I have the win 3 games daily. So yeah, I've rambled. I seriously have. I have to apologize for that, but I guess like just one of those things. I didn't really plan this. This is kind of a test. I want to make sure everything's working, so I figured at the same time I'll talk to you guys from the heart, let you know what's going on in my life, and yada yada yada. Again, I'm repeating myself too. That's what happens when I don't come with a plan, something to talk about. Even though I don't script much of my stuff, I do at least usually sit down with a thought in my head of what do I want to talk about today. So usually when I'm doing my Let's Play stuff or whatever, I have a topic of conversation I usually want to breach. Or I'll just talk about something that's happening in the game. I usually follow one of those or the other. This was just, hey, I want to talk about what's going on, and obviously my thoughts and planning did not get much farther ahead, did they? Anyway, this was Heroes of the Storm with Tychus, and I don't think I did particularly well, but I don't think I did super bad either. So, you know, it's very hard to be a Tychus in a game that has very few tanks now with a Tracer out. Like, honestly, I'm seeing very few tanks right now. And even when you do, it's like there's Tracers in every game. Granted, she's the flavor of the month, but more so because she's a really good flavor of the month. Let's kind of avoid that analogy after that, because that has weird implications. Anyway, she's good. She is really good. Overpowered? I don't know if I really believe that. Against some characters, I mean, yes. She is a definite hard counter to some characters. Like, you can get right up in a Li Ming's face and just decimate her. You know, Zagara, Kael'thas, you know, characters that can't run away, that have skill shots that you might be able to dash around. She is amazing at doing that. So, maybe I'll do something on her. But this, again, this has been a test of the emergency, oh my god, I made a new broadcast system. And what I might do is, I was thinking about putting it up during the video, but I might put it up in the video and sometime with what the specs are and what I bought, so when I first talk about it, I think I'll do that. So you guys know. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Leave a comment, like, whatever. I normally don't ask for those things because I feel like it's pandering or whatever, and I try to figure if you guys like it, you'll do it anyway, but yeah, I figure it's nice. I'll just throw out a little reminder there, and it helps me. It helps me, obviously, know, you know, if you liked it, I guess. Anyway, this is what I get. I'm tired, and I'm making a video. I'm going to stop talking now. Bye!